Hello and welcome back. This is Grillenheimer. We're going to start all over again from the top, shall we? Let's go over this as quick as we can because I don't want to take too much long on this, even though I've done a lot of videos on where these guys came from, where I found them, when they were created, etc., etc. You can see that all of my previous videos that go back over a year ago. Just simply go to the playlist, Homemade Transformers for the TCG for Grillenheimer, Gamers Need Christ. Now, in the meantime, we're going to start at the top. We're going to start with the guys that started it all, the Spetabots. Okay, Stardom is the leader. He is the leader. These are the original drawings for the original cards. I drew them right on the actual... just right on the actual white cards that came with like Wave 1. They are spaceships. They're a fleet of spaceships. Following Stridor is Ramstador, nicknamed Stridor. He is a fast satellite. There's all his stuff. This has all since been changed, but I still have these guys. Going on next is Speared, the Speedster. Slightly inspired by Wolverine, being an old Wolverine fan from the mid to late 80s as a high school teenager. Blimpus was based on me at the time because I liked being chubby, even though I wasn't actually chubby. I wanted to be fat, and I have no idea why, but I ended up being fat, and I'm not fat anymore. Thank you very much, Sluggard Scout. That was Blimpus. And then Stridoff is the last one. He is our linguist. They all transform into spaceships. They are can all be not just airborne, but also space traveling Autobots, and they all do combine into Stridor, the Transwarp Warrior. I did have a video where I tried to explain their origins, where they come from, when they died, who their nemesis was, which is Cronus, which we're about to see here in a minute anyway. But in the meantime, this was the big guy that started it all. They have since been redone. And let's keep going. Sorry for the shadow. Up next are the Satellicons. They are a group of 4 Decepticons that were found on another planet, and they were actually rescued somewhat after the golden age of Cybertron, on purpose or by accident. I don't know. You pick. Condor is the leader. He's the only one that can actually flip during battle. The other 3 cannot. He has range. He does actually have a spaceship kind of mode, so I guess he could, like Astro Train, maybe, be able to truck them all somewhere in transit. Spinster is their gunner. Astrite is also another gunner. And Fratellis is the blinding acrobat. I really haven't played these guys very much. I think they're kind of broken. I didn't know what I was doing back then. I didn't know the game that well. I might have to try to play them again to see how it goes. In the meantime, the Satellicons are based all on, again, another drawing from when I was in like 7th grade study hall from 1987, when I was in high school, in junior high. Yes, we had junior high, not middle school back then in 87. It was a different world. It was fun. It was different. It was... Gosh, you could ride your bike all over the place without a helmet on. Anyway, the Satellicons combine and transform into a big, huge, ugly, immobile-looking satellite, complete with a little bit of a sound wave inside to help them with transmission, I guess. I don't know. But those are the Satellicons. These are my original Demicons. They were actually going to be called something else, and they actually have beast modes. I actually gave them a beast modes because I didn't know what else to call them other than their faction name for their alt modes. So we have Clamort. Clamort is the leader. This is his alt mode and his bot mode. And then we have Cross-eyed. Depending on which way he is walking is his front side, because he's basically has eyes on the back of his head. Think of the really cheap looking G2 figures from long ago. Anyway, and then here is Cramash, the Beheader. These are actual, and this was my original idea for a Quintesson symbol. I have since changed it since then. These were actually Quintessons. all the Decepticons transform into the mighty Cronus, the Destructor, a force to be reckoned with, and probably inspired by the Dweller in the Depths episode from season 3. Somewhat after I saw that not too long ago, I'm like, maybe that's where I came up with these guys. And they are the nemesis to, you guessed it, Stridor. Well, crap, this is no good. I can't find Stardom, and Stardom is not exactly the star of the show, but anyway, he's not here. I don't know where he is. But anyway, in the meantime, we do have the updated Ramstador, Blimpus, Stridoff, and Speared. I really wanted to remake these guys, make them look better, give them some tender, loving care, so to speak, some TLC, and give them their own individual cards. Again, I don't know where Stardom is. But here is also the new Stridor. Yes. And actually, the combined form of the Spidabots here was actually inspired by, oh, shucks, Maximus, the Autobots, the Sentinels. I kind of used his position looking at that one, but kind of mirrored it. So he's pointing this way, not that way, and actually holding a gun. And then last summer, I was really realizing one thing, especially after Wave 2 came out. I was really excited, especially enjoyed the combiner aspect of the game. Wasn't exactly a big fan of the Enigma cards, so to speak, just because of the Enigma that was in their silly trilogy, blah, blah, blah. You know, combiners don't need a reason to combine. They just combine when they want to or when they need to. They knew it's normally for a last defense for the Transformers in the first place because of they seem to act a little dumber when they're combined. But anyway, so I started making boats after boats my family used to have. Bass boat, MFG, an old glass bar sedan from the 60s, a Catalina sailboat, a houseboat, a catamaran, and a yellow speedboat thing. We all had these boats, not all at the same time and not at the same family, but, you know, different sides, so to speak, but of grandparents. So these are pretty much my original first boat characters that I made last summer. Let's get a little closer, shall we? We have Killswitch, Leeway, Foil, Teak, Warfish, Stingray, and Private Buzzbur. I was getting a little more into understanding how the game was actually played, despite making a lot of errors and only being able to play by myself. In the meantime, I had very few card gaming rules behind my back, much less even experience trying to make all these silly things. But I did do very few rare kickbacks when two players are able to bounce off another, such as if Buzzbur is played with Leeway, you know, has an extra ability, or if Buzzbur, who I kind of made like a bit of a horny character, if a Fembot is on the team, then he can get Bold 3, get a Buzz, he can get Bold 3, you know, things like that. I still have my desk job working downtown, which I still have, but I'm just not working downtown at the moment. But once I made a handful of boats, I started going whole hog. And in the meantime, I ended up not just having Killswitch, but I made two other, as I call them, Switch brothers. Killswitch actually defects. Outer Switch, Snap Switch. Here we have Fogbreak. Whoa. Who was actually helped named by one of the users here, though he, I think, was naming this one Fogbreak, but I ended up naming this one Fogbreak. But we use the name. And then we have Flathead at the pier, Captain Gallium Prime, which is both an Autobot and a Decepticon. These guys were even created before Wave 3 came out. I knew we already had some bounty hunter kind of things that were coming down the pike. I had no idea they were going to be called mercenaries, so I ended up doing the mercenary symbol on here by the time I was able to finish everything. So this is Lieutenant Shredhead, Private Dingbot, and Crosscat. Evil Laughing Boy here's the bot side of all of them. For Outer Switch, Snap Switch, Fogbreak, Flathead, I'm sure you can read along as well. Captain Gallium Prime, Cross Cat, let's go a little slower, Private Dingbot, and then Lieutenant Shredhead. It's hard for me to draw anything really mean. Can you tell yet? In the meantime, somewhere in the middle of, like wave 3 to wave 5, before wave 5 came out, I ended up finishing some of these guys. He came out in the summer. He's from my wave 3. These two were newer that came out that I did this winter. We now have, so I wanted to do some small cards since thanks to wave 3 they brought out some smaller characters. So we have Doc, our corpsman, Dingbot, our Energon Scout, Raider Gunstick, our Air Force unit weaponizer, Private Scratch, a battle master, Barcode, the Bester Pack, also a battle master. Then we have Gridiron, the Autobot chef, and he is a Thane. Don't ask me what that symbol is. It's just a Thane. And here's their bot modes. Doc, Dingbot, yes, I understand. I drew a Decepticon symbol on his shoulder. Maybe he did it on a dare. I don't know. Maybe he's got the touch. Raider Gunsticks. Private Scratches, bot mode, barcodes, and then there's Gridiron. And somewhere along the way, about May, June of last year, Danny Williams got commented on in one of the videos and wanted to have me make a Rakgar for him. I still have both of them, Danny, and they are still here. I haven't really used him very much. 7-star character, 10 health, attack of 3. He really has a big kickback when you're able to scrap cards to revive or bring a KO'd character back into the battlefield. Little bitty Barcode is a force to be reckoned with, especially if he is connected to Turret Strike. As a big Twin Twist fan from 1988, always enjoyed the jump starters, and Twin Twist was no exception, especially with his saying, "War is everywhere I want to be." He is our weapon tactical bot. One of my better drawings, actually. I really like that pose. But he is based on Twin Twist's first form before he gets formatted into Twin Twist. And then I did a fan fiction at tfw2005.com before I was kicked off for no reason at all. And then when I mentioned it, I got kicked off again because you're not supposed to mention me when you're kicked off. I still didn't know why I was kicked off in the first place. Anyway, somewhere in their archives is a fan fiction that I made of Twin Twist getting turned into this. At the time, I didn't have a name for him, but he ended up getting possessed by a creature that Galvatron tricks them to go search out the Decepticon Matrix, thus the name Pith Core. I came up with this name this time last summer. It looks really neat. He was supposed to be a big, huge ship floating in space on the other side of a black hole that Top Spin and Twin Twist go into. Twin Twist gets possessed by Pith Core's essence and turns into Twin Core. Now, I did not have all these names figured out way back 12 years ago when I wrote that fan fiction online, but I came up with the names now. I have characters and drawings to go with it. This is actually not his. He's not fully Twin Twist. He's not fully Pith Core. He's somewhere in between. I just hate that the printer kind of bled some of the colors and washed it out a little bit. And during two completely different waves, as you can see, these two are similar. This one is not. This one was in the last wave of characters that I did. I actually have a set of water tanks. And based on a certain wording on here that I have to spread across 4 damage between the 3 of them to be able to have all 3 of them in play to give up star counts, because their star counts do total more than 25, thus explaining the damage. Being able to play Waterbolt, Sergeant Sailor, and Catwalk. He was the first one. And they all look pretty impressive. He was the first, he was the second, and he was the last. My dad used to work for a company, and he retired from a company. He was the draftsman engineer for water tanks all over the world, actually. He had to actually travel to that island that they actually filmed at the beginning of Dark of the Moon. Or was it Revenge of the Fallen? And you actually see the water tank in the background, I think. Diego Garcia? Again, sorry for the dirty floor. I've got to vacuum. I guess when my wife isn't here, I guess that's kind of when I get stuff done. Anyway, we have Zambot was the first, sort of based on my son when he was in a scouting program and actually had a little racer car race last spring of 2019. Yeah. Anyway, let's get a little closer. These were cars that I either have or had or learned to drive in. We have a Chrysler Town & Country van. We have a 66 Mustang. We have a Toyota Highlander. That's supposed to be a 66. Oh, crap. I just forgot the name of that car. Impala. This is a 66 or 65 Chevrolet truck, and you know that. And starting on the left, we have Zambot, Gasline, Lieutenant Trunk. So you can tell he's supposed to be an Impala there. I did the grill right on that one. Sport is the Highlander, also known as McGregor. And then there is Backroad. That is my name on Earth Wars. And there is Silverbolt. After I drew and finally colored him, I was telling a friend of mine, and he was saying that I should have made one of the side doors, because that's a door, that's a door. This is supposed to be the sliding door, that I should have made the sliding door like a shield on his arm, but then you wouldn't be able to see his, his shoulder there with the Maximal symbol I put on it, because even though his name is SLVRBLT, as if it would be on a tag for a car if we ever got one. My wife did name our van Silverbolt because I forced her to watch Beast Wars, and she actually liked it. And just like the boats, once I got finished making vehicles based on vehicles that I've either owned or driven, or that were in the family, I started just doing everything else. Oh gosh, I forgot what that was supposed to be. Not a Mazda. Acura. It's supposed to be an Acura something or other. Some Acura. And then we got GMC truck. That's supposed to be a Jeep Renegade. We got, you saw a busload earlier. And then we have Chief Dosserbot, which is an old antique fire engine. Then we have Tempo, the Honda something or other. Then we have the dump truck, and actually a user named him, but he named it Dieselhead. He wanted Gasline to be named Dieselhead, and I ended up using the name Dieselhead on the dump truck. We'll come back to their bot modes in a second. Shade is a Kia Soul, and then we have Powerline, which is simply a power utility truck. Don't worry, after this group, there's only 7 more characters left. There is Slapjack. He is our utility engineer. He is a sort of a brother to Wheeljack. There's Private Teaspoon. Nah, my name's Teaspoon, and I'm Cybertron's chief dishwasher, based on a really funny line from season 3. I did Teaspoon. That's why he looks like Cup. Craven. And then we have Busload, of course, Chief. Flip him and roll for it. Thank you very much. Or run for it. Chief Dosserbot. Let's get a little closer. I really like that guy. And there's Tempo with a shiny marker that's making him look white. Diesel Head, which is just cool. And yes, I made him a Decepticon Wrecker Flotsam Armorer. And here we have Shade, actually sideways in bot mode for his card. Actually, when tapped, he looks fine. And then there's Powerline, who also kind of resembles Cup. I didn't mean to do that. Powerline actually you can utilize Zap cards. If you can get enough of them in your hand, you can actually deploy them all at once, or 2. He can deploy 2 in use. Here is Inner Q on top of the 3 Quintessons I made that combine into Cronus. This is also a Quintesson as well, Circuitous Quint. This is the new symbol I made. I did redraw the Demicons. I'm not finished with them yet. Gosh, I've got a lot to do, and I'm just running out of time. And I made this guy. I started drawing him last November. Now I finally finished Cyberverse. Okay, first of all, let's get a little closer. It's supposed to be like brain matter in there. And it kind of looks like an ice cream cone. You know, he doesn't look the same as the one that Quintesson, or they were calling them Quintessence and Cyberverse, whatever. But the story was not bad, and the plot was, and the characters were pretty neat. He doesn't quite look quite as ugly as the Quintesson that was trying to create the new judge that turned into Starscream's head and all that. But the idea is here, which is really weird, because you can, you know, if you look really close, you're supposed to be seeing part of all that brain matter behind his head that is actually on the back of it. If you could see him from the side, it would be, there's my finger, it would be this, like that, with his face going down this way, flipping up to look like that. Get it? Got it? Good. And then I actually created buildings, of all things. Transforming buildings. We have waterproof to help out my nautical characters, and bringing on another boat, 6 stars or less, when certain conditions are met. He's a supply judge. I really liked waterproof. If you go back and look at some of my older videos, you will see that there were 2 different drawings for him. Yeah, he ended up getting washed out too. Here is Copper. Oh goodness, it's really close on here. That's right, the Glade Creek grist mill. He's a miller. And we have Weathervane, an actual church. And I was just trying to really be clever and interesting. These guys have some really interesting abilities I've never seen done before. They're all very high star characters as well. I wrote 9, but I have 11 designated on there. Copper is 15 with a health of 17, and waterproof is 11 with 14 health. And then last but not least, we have 4 more characters left. Here's the last 3. Lieutenant Junior Lophius, Lieutenant Ghost Current, and Commander Pressure Hull. They are all my submarines. We have built a navy. Here is Lieutenant Lophius, another corpsman, and Ghost Current. And I really like these guys, how I made them like they're hunched over, except for maybe Pressure Hull. And these were actually, I did shrink them down, I think, but these were, I know I colored these 2 with colored pencil. Lophius, I'm not sure about. Yes, I am Lophius on PSO2. That is me also. So, here's these guys. Pretty proud of them. They are hard to play effectively. The way these guys work, if you see some other videos of mine, if your attack is 2 or less, then you can untap another sub and flip that sub to bot mode, which also gives you a perk. But it's not easy to pull off, let me tell you. The very last one we have is X Petabyte. Let me say it right. X Petabyte. He is my 1 triple changer. And based on a Honda CRV. And the way I made this out is I never had a little story with him that he was able to, his function as ad hoc, that he was able to come from Cybertron. He wanted to keep his Cybertron mode, and in order to do that, he had to be able to find some sort of material that could only be found like somewhere in the depths of Africa, here on Earth or something. So when he came to Earth, before he picked a secondary mode, which they are all sworn to do when they come here to help blend in, is that he found that whatever that material, and to be able to do it and do the transition and not just become a triple changer, but to have his original mode and his Earth mode. And here is his bot mode. Oh, come on. He is the last one for the night. And this is all my guys. The only one you missed and is the new Stardom. He's somewhere around here. But I've gone way too long. Got to go to bed. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time. And I was just wanting to, for any new viewers, I mean, this is a huge stack of homemade character cards. I mean, let me tell you, Cthulhu. And I might have a count of them on my video to let you know how many there are. I have counted them once before, but I'm not going to count the duplicates for just each character, not like each Spedabot, because I've done them more than once. Or Demicons, because I've done them more than once, etc., etc. But that's all we got tonight. Thanks for watching. Have a blessed evening. Please be safe. I need to be safe too. And we will see you next time. And as always, flip out and let's roll for it.